I mean, his stuff is here. He was here.
We will be starting in a few minutes.
Here he comes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Maylee. Pastor Bob Bender from Christ Fellowship Church will lead our invocation tonight. Then Commissioner Turkin will lead with the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all stand for the invocation and the pledge, please.
Heavenly Father, we thank you. We thank you for life. We thank you for this beautiful city that we get to live in. And we pray your blessing would be on our leaders. Give them wisdom and discernment. We pray your blessing and protection on those who serve as first responders, whether it's nurses or the police or the firefighters or others that serve and stand in the gap. We thank you for the brave men and women who serve in our armed forces, many who are here tonight. We honor them and we thank you for them. And we pray for your protection and provision for their lives. God, we pray for those in our community that right now are battling illness of all kinds, that you would bring healing. We pray that you would continue to teach us to love one another well, to be instruments of kindness to one another. May it be that Boynton Beach is known for its love, for its joy, for its peace, the patience we have with one another, the kindness we express, the gentleness and the goodness that we walk in, the faithfulness that we carry together. And Lord, that you would help us to grow in self-control and understanding of one another, and that ours would be a community marked by love. We thank you. You are a good and loving Father, and we pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mayor, before we get started, if I may say a word.
Yes.
We all know about our Florida State Representative Joe Casella, that he died of a heart attack. And we also know that he was a firefighter in Massachusetts for 3 decades before getting into politics in Florida. And he served as a Boynton Beach city commissioner before becoming a state lawmaker. He had announced plans to run for a seat on Palm Beach County Commissioner in 2026. But what we want to do tonight, in respect and out of honor of his life, we want to have a moment of silence, if you please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We are now moving on to the agenda approval, additions, deletions, and corrections. Let's begin on my right with Commissioner Cruz. If you have any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda.
I do not. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Hay,
I do not.
Commissioner Kelly,
No, Mayor, I'm good. Thank you.
and Commissioner Turkin.
Yeah, I'd like to add a item for discussion of the finalized report from the OIG's office to starting at 8A.
Actually, it wouldn't be a public hearing item. It would be on the regular,
Let's do before 8A.
before 8A, or you can put it on regular agenda, but then move it up. If
can
you
do
would like to
10A.
do it at a certain time. 10D.
10B is fine. Or how about 10A?
D is in dog. And then just move it up to wherever you want it on the agenda.
So can I move it as to 10A?
Or you could also move it as 3B under announcements.
We'll stick with 10A.
Okay. 10D.
10A.
We have a 10A.
We have a
Okay, can we
10A.
bump it back, is what I'm saying? We do that every single meeting. I don't know why this is different.
We just have to renumber these resolutions.
All right, let's do 3B.
Okay.
All right?
Perfect.
And it was to finalize report.
The OIG, yeah.
Okay. If there's nothing else, may we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Vice Mayor Hay moved to approve the agenda, and Commissioner Kelly seconded the motion. All those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We will move on to informational items by the members of the City Commission. Let's begin to my left with Commissioner Turkin.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just want to take a moment and congratulate our city manager, Dan Duggar, on earning his executive MBA and graduating today from FAU, hooty-hoo. When Dan was first appointed, he faced a wave of unwarranted pushback. Despite an unblemished Army service record and more than 20 years of honorable service in our own police department, he stood tall through weaponized investigations, politically motivated attacks, and months of baseless accusations that targeted not just him, but also his family. Today, Dan Duggar stands as one of the most respected and productive city managers in Palm Beach County. Under his leadership, we've seen clear, measurable progress in economic development, infrastructure, public safety, and community engagement. And now, in addition to having a valid driver's license, Dan can proudly add an executive MBA to his portfolio from one of Florida's top public universities. Congratulations, Dan. You've earned every bit of this. And the city's in a better place today than it was 3 years ago because of your leadership.
Moving on, we are going to, the next announcement will be the proclamation designated to the city of Boynton Beach as
And
purple.
that was just his informational item.
Oh, that was your
Sorry.
informational item, sorry. That was, do you have anything?
I did, I did want to, Andrew, my informational item has to do with just report they're doing. I wanted to make the residents aware that there are power infrastructure upgrades happening along Lawrence Road. It's causing some nighttime road closures. It's nothing that the city is doing, but it is exciting to see FPNL, increasing and enhancing our infrastructure when it comes to power lines. It's just one more way that we're becoming, more hurricane stable and prepared. And so I just wanted to make sure the residents are aware that that construction is happening. They're replacing poles, they're hardening the power grid in District 4. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention and staff as well. So thank you.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Yes, I would also like to congratulate Dan Duggar on his MBA. What a difference 3 years can make. I know I was one of those who gave you a hard time, but I'm looking for bigger and better things, and I'm sure that will come. And it has already started. So thank you. I'm looking forward to greater and better things from you.
Commissioner Cruz?
I'm not going to repeat, but yes, congratulations as well, and I do not have any disclosures. Thank you.
Dan, congratulations. Okay, now moving on to 3A. The next announcement will be a proclamation designating the city of Boynton Beach as a Purple Heart City, signifying its commitment to honor and support United States military veterans, especially those who have experienced the direct impact of combat. Alfonso Duque, local Purple Heart veteran, will be accepting the proclamation. Mr. Duque fought in Afghanistan from 2012 to 2013 during Operation Enduring Freedom. He was a part of the Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 14 and trained in Mississippi, the Great Lakes, California, and Virginia Beach, and has also spent time in Puerto Rico and Germany. Mr. Duque was injured on October 2nd, 2012, and he received his Purple Heart in November of 2012. He was injured as a Petty Officer Second Class and retired as a Petty Officer First Class. I would like to have any veterans or active military personnel in the room please stand up to be recognized, and Commissioner Turkin will be reading the proclamation.
Thank you, Chair. Mayor, whereas the city of Boynton Beach and the state of Florida has always supported its military veteran population, And whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in present use and was initially created as the badge of military merit by General George Washington in 1782. And whereas the Purple Heart was the first American Service Award or decoration made available to the common soldier and is specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or paid the ultimate sacrifice in combat with a declared enemy of the United States of America. And whereas the mission of the Military Order of the Purple Heart is to foster an environment of goodwill among the combat wounded veteran members and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, make sure we never forget. And whereas the city of Boynton Beach and the Palm Beach County area have a large, highly decorated veteran population, including many Purple Heart recipients. And whereas the city of Boynton Beach appreciates the sacrifices our Purple Heart recipients made in defending our freedoms and believe it is important that we acknowledge them for their courage and show them the honor and support they have earned. Therefore, Rebecca Shelton, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, does hereby proclaim August 7th, 2025 as a Purple Heart City and encourages the citizens of the City of Boynton Beach to show their appreciation for the sacrifices that the Purple Heart recipients have made in defending our freedoms, to acknowledge their courage, and to show them the honor and support they have earned. Let me guess, the Dolphins Coast Guard.
Okay, one more, everybody right here. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Ready, 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Brian McDermott.
Honor.
Okay, moving on to 3B, to finalize the report of the OIG, City Attorney Shauna.
Today, we received a final report from the OIG with regard to the allegations that were made about several staff members, senior staff members, and Commissioner Turkin would like to say a few things.
Yeah, you were modest, Shauna. I won't be as modest. The Office of Inspector General has officially cleared the city manager, the deputy city manager, and the city attorney of all allegations made against them. That's right. Of all allegations made against them during a politically fueled 20-month bogus investigation. These claims, all based on hearsay, bogus anonymous complaints, and zero substantiated wrongdoing, not only cost our city countless of tax dollars, but took the toll on the families and reputations of some of our most dedicated city servants. Meanwhile, some of these very officials who helped orchestrate this witch hunt voted to prolong it and give this legitimacy, publicly endorsed the one individual who was sustained on serious allegations of soliciting campaign contributions and attending campaign events while on the taxpayer clock. Let that sink in. Those who weaponized our systems against innocent staff turned a blind eye to actual misconduct when it suited their political agenda. For the sake of public trust, I strongly encourage those who participated in this spectacle to apologize privately or publicly to the individuals and their families and the hell it put them through in the name of theater and political gamesmanship. This 20-month charade was an abuse of taxpayer dollars, staff time, and institutional trust, let alone delayed city initiatives and unnecessarily shifted the focus to this instead of putting our residents first. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Turkin. Yes, you may.
I typically I don't comment on things like this, but I do appreciate the words that you just provided. And to Andrew, I'm sorry you had to go through that, and your wife and your family. Shauna, same thing. And there's a former mayor, Ty Penserga. He was behind this whole charade. So I think everyone needs to know that he's the one that orchestrated this behind the scenes. That's it.
Ready to move on? Thank you.
Nothing further, Mayor.
No, thank you. Okay, we are moving on to the public audience portion of this meeting. As always, it is 3 minutes per person and non-transferable. The same rules always apply. The speaker must address the commission as a whole, not to any individual on the dais or in the audience. Insult, personal attacks, and disruptions are not permitted, and you may be asked to leave the meeting should you violate these rules. After we have concluded in-person comments, we will move to online.
Good afternoon, Mike McCray. I'd like to say to the city manager, as a former commissioner for this city, congratulations, sir. You belong now to the OWL family. You are an FAU, just like I am. And sir, no matter how high you soar, remember you'll come back down and you will always be an owl. Hoot, hoot.
Good evening, Cindy Falco Di Corrado. Today, I'd like to rise not in confrontation, but in commentation. I stand here to give heartfelt kudos to those among you who upheld the courage to remove the LGBTQ flag from our city streets. A decision not born of hate, but of integrity and respect for all citizens. Boynton Beach became the first city to take this stand, not because we are against any person, but because we believe that the streets we all walk upon shall not be used to elevate agendas that cause division, confusion, or undermine the values that built this nation. You didn't cave to pressure. You didn't bow to the loudest voices. You listened to the silent majority, the families, the faith leaders, and the hardworking citizens who simply want to see unity, not ideology, warfare reflected in our public streets. In a time when moral clarity is scarce, you chose to draw a line with grace and dignity. This isn't about exclusion. This is about remembering that our streets belong to everyone, not to political movements, not to identify or identity fractions, but we, the people. I applaud you for your courage, your wisdom, and your respect for the broader community. Boynton Beach has set a precedence for others to follow, and from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. May God continue to give the city leaders of courage, hearts of discernment, and voices that protect the truth. And may Boynton Beach be a city where the righteousness exalts us and division has no foothold. Thank you, and God bless you all. And I want to say, truth is what really keeps Boynton Beach alive. Love and truth. As prayer was just about love, but it's truth, because truth is love. Thank you.
Next, please.
Hi, Susan Oyer, Boynton Beach. So I want to start off by saying congratulations, Dan. I wasn't aware. I too have a master's from FAU, although, you know, I bleed orange and blue because I'm a Gator first. But congratulations. And that's a great accomplishment and good for you. I also want to say congratulations to the city of Boynton for, it's a great honor to have us as a Purple Heart city. I'm sure Commissioner Turco will tell you, my family's been in the military for hundreds of years, going back even prior to the American Revolution, so I'm a very proud military family, so thank you. But what I'm here to talk about tonight is lack of response and trying to find out what the status is on things. So first of all, haven't gotten a response back on my environmental impact study for the forest west of the mall. I assume that it's still going on, but it's been 2 months, so time for a status check. Obviously, I'm not the only one who cares, so, you know, I've reached out to the clerk. I've asked a couple times now. They don't have anything yet, so I want to know what's going on. Second of all, I wasn't aware of this actually till I was at the hazards workshop, and they were showing us maps of the city of Boynton. It turns out where the NYU Langone building is on Quantum is no longer part of the city. So it's blocked out, like we're not receiving tax money on that. Like, did they get some kind of deal to move here and not have to pay city taxes because we exempted them and took them out of the city because there's a boundary around there? So I'm just curious, like, when that happened, what happened, and that's fine as long as it gets sunsetted and comes back into the city for taxes at some point. I understand you give businesses tax breaks for a few years, but what's going on with that? And lastly, on July 15th, I sent an email to Arts and included all of you on it. What is the status on getting the Ralfonso piece down on the corner, Reflections, fixed? I've never heard back. That's an expensive piece. It's under warranty. Why is it not moving and spinning? Why have we not gotten that fixed? That is our most expensive, valuable piece of art in the city. The second most expensive piece, which was originally the most expensive piece, was the Bloomer tree, my personal favorite piece. It's stunning. Where is it at? It's been hidden for a couple years now. When is it going to come out of inventory? It is an absolutely exquisite piece of art. Every resident who ever saw it loved it. Where's it at? Why is it not out? It was worth over $100,000 about, what, a dozen years ago when it was first given to the city. So until Reflections came along, it's our most valuable piece. Where's it at? And I also asked, what's the status on the inventory? Because we have all these pieces of art. We have a couple storage facilities. What's going on? When are we going to get some kind of inventory on our hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of art in this city? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, my name is Charles Hunt. I'm a military retiree, and I feel that I've been fighting basically all my life for my country and my rights. I feel that Boynton Beach, my city, my hometown, I'm fighting against them for a $75 a day fine that's charged against my home illegally for a year now, since July 18th. Not only that, the police department, I was forced to allow them to tow my vehicle when I was parked on the side of the road waiting on AAA. During the time that I was waiting, I was told that I was only allowed to be there for 30 minutes, and I was there more than 30 minutes. So I let them know my vehicle, my AAA was on the way, but they started loading my vehicle anyway. During that particular time, my AAA truck arrived, and they refused to let my AAA take my truck, my vehicle. They forced me to allow them to carry my vehicle and charge me $250 for 3 miles, less than 3 miles. I introduced this problem to the city sheriff, and he said they was only supposed to charge vehicles that was correct. My vehicle only had fuse blown, and they took my vehicle. I was so hurt. I'm asking that the $250 and all that I've been charged be reimbursed.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and staff. My name is Deanna Brinkman. I'm a wife, mother to 6 beautiful children. I work as a nurse, and my husband owns a local business in our city, actually right down the street. And I'm a resident of Boynton Beach, living in Gulfview Harbor neighborhood. I'm here tonight to respectfully ask the City Commission to consider revising the law from the mandatory sidewalk installation requirement. What I've been told is per the LDR, Chapter 4, Section 8, Section 3D, no person shall improve any parcel of land within the city or change the occupancy classification without installing a sidewalk. I'm requesting a change in the law, either through a waiver, variance, or reevaluation of the ordinance as it applies to legacy neighborhoods like ours. The sidewalk requirement has created a significant burden on our project. My specific situation includes a large immovable FPL transmission transformer that will never go underground. It's located at the corner of my property, and it makes sidewalk construction impractical. Additionally, no other homes on my street or nearby have sidewalks. So constructing one at my location provides no connectivity or pedestrian benefit. It would be a sidewalk to nowhere, and no one can use it. I attempted to request a waiver through the engineering and planning departments, but I was told that no waiver could be granted under the current code, and that's why I'm here. To ask you, the commission, to consider amending this ordinance to allow for administrative flexibility in neighborhoods like Gulfview Harbor, where sidewalks have never been part of the neighborhood design, and where residents' strong opposition to new sidewalk construction due to both aesthetic and safety concerns and it being impractical in most areas from last February, our town hall. I'm proud to be improving my home and investing in this city, but I believe this code, as currently applied, creates a disproportionate burden in certain areas. I hope you'll consider my requests, and I welcome the opportunity to follow up with any of you directly, as I've emailed you. Everyone should have the email I sent from earlier this week and last. Thank you for your time, your service, and for listening to my concerns.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nikki King. I'm an employee through Washington, D.C. of Safeway. I'm here on arrival of July 21st of 2025 on behalf of John P. Heekins, a General Counsel of Washington, D.C., correspondence. I'm here in reference because there's a new school year beginning for 2025 or 2026. This is in regards to advisory boards about my 3 missing daughters that's been missing between 4 to 7 years, which is already the message have already been said to all local law enforcement within Palm Beach County area. I'm just here raising concern because there was so much exploitation where trafficking has happened to my 3 missing daughters. So if you guys can open up the advisory boards just to get the word out, even through the news team, about my 3 daughters that's been missing through this kidnapping or whatever these people are classifying it as through West Palm Beach, where they went missing in West Palm Beach from Boynton Beach. This is our home of my home of 36 years. I have had no other home besides Boynton Beach, Florida, and my work is legally binding of Washington, D.C. So again, this is a follow-up within Senator Rick Scott of his General Counsel, Mr. John P. Heekins. I'm actually getting ready to depart again in 2 more days, but I am to notify my city councils and city committee meeting, I guess the city committee meetings in reference to the advisory board about my 3 missing daughters, which is already with the Palm Beach County School District Police, who is in a distressful state right now because of what's going on, and she cannot believe of the city is allowing this to happen instead of just returning the children. Again, my name is Nikki King, and I'm an employee of Washington, D.C., of Safeway, and this is a follow-up within Senator Rick Scott through his general counsel, John P. Heekins. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Willie Roberts. I'm resident at 249 Northwest 28th Avenue, Boynton. Since I got up and talked the other night, I see a little different going on in the neighborhood, but there's some more need to be done. I've got a car. I was in here the other day too, I guess, by the car. But this car been on the sidewalk where the kids walk in the road, and I have to let them know that we got sidewalks there, and they had to walk on the sidewalk. So this particular car got several families of spider webs up on it and a flat tire on the back. The car been parked there since last year. I asked my neighbor next door to me how long it's been there. He said about 2 years. And then listen, I spoke to a police officer, and he said, well, Frank, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I called the police office department, and I wanted to talk to the chief. They sent somebody else out there. I still ain't talked to the chief of police yet. It's so hard to get to him. I don't know why. Get back on this car. This car been there, got spider wheels, flat tire, right there in the front of my house. How would you like waking up in the morning and this car parked on the sidewalk for a whole year, and then the march in the road? They have a tendency to ride those little scooters and the dirt bags, sometimes 10 o'clock at night. One night I came out there, and I couldn't get the car tag number. I was trying. That's the type of person I am in my neighborhood, especially on that corner. That corner, I told the police years ago, if anything goes on this corner, I'm reporting it, and it either me or them gonna run it, because that's where our residents at, okay? So I like to get a better response from the city and the police department to get there on time, not an hour later, okay? It's just ridiculous. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Next, please.
David Katz. Would this be the proper time to talk about something that's on the consent agenda? That's a yes, thank you. I'm going to talk about number 7H. It has to do with approving a $20,000 increase to an auto body shop that's in Lake Worth. I spoke to staff about this, and I got information that we use auto body shops that are in Boynton Beach, Pioneer Auto, USA Collision, a specialty truck repair shop down in Pompano, which I understand. But this Vinnie's Auto Body is in Lake Worth. There's got to be another auto body shop in Boynton Beach that we can use. And it's my understanding that you want to have as many eggs in the basket that you can go see, but I think this egg in Lake Worth should be brought to Boynton Beach. There's got to be another shop. I understand that, I believe it's an expectation of a certain hourly rate. I don't know if you can find another shop, even if you can't, and they're $70 or $75 an hour. I understand the current rate is $65. It's here in Boynton Beach, and that's where we should spend the money. We should not, I don't know if you guys can correct this tonight, but I'm sure Vinnie's is a very fine shop, but it is in Lake Worth. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come down for public comment? If not, we will move to online.
No. We do have, We do have, okay, we have one person online for public comment. That's Cameron Maharaj. If you, Cameron, if you could unmic yourself, introduce yourself, and begin, I'll give you a warning when you have 15 seconds remaining.
Yes, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, okay. So, Cameron Maharaj for District 2. I'm thankful for you guys today. I have requested a public information request when it comes down to our flock cameras. Like our sister neighborhood, Jupiter, they have public information when it comes down to the database of where the flock cameras are posted, criminal statistics of actual cases being solved, whether that be missing children, reported stolen cars, or traffic infractions that are captured by these flock cameras. So I would just like to get some more insight on a public display of giving some more transparency of the results of these flock cameras that are approaching our neighborhoods, especially in the District 2 area. So just wanted to let that be known. I thank everyone for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, public comment will now be closed. We are going to move on to the advisory board and appointments. We have an appointment that was tabled at the last meeting that needs to be removed from the table. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, what? Oh, where? Oh, come on down. I'm so
Come on down,
sorry.
Ms. Katie Miller.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Katie Miller, and I've lived in Garfield Harbor for over 50 years. I'm 88 years old, but I wish you all could help me with the city of Boynton Beach. I have 2 garbage cans out in front of my yard. It's been out there for a month now, and I've called the city numerous times, and they say, oh, we're going to pick them up. And they're still out there as of today. The 2 cans are still there. So I was just hoping that maybe some of you all could get the city to move them. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we will be moving on to the advisory board and appointments. We have an appointment that was tabled at the last meeting that needs to be removed from the table.
Mayor?
Yes.
I did not want to remove it from the table because of administrative changes that are going to be happening
Okay.
with the process.
Understood.
Just real quick before we jump in, can I get more information on Ms. Brinkman's request for the sidewalk stuff? I got in that email, and I think I forwarded it to the city manager's office. I haven't gotten a response back, just to see what our options are, and I'll follow up with her.
So if she chooses not to remove it from the table, then we'll leave that on the table,
Okay.
which I believe is with regard to the historic preservation.
Yes.
So that one we will not be doing this evening.
Okay.
Some things did come up with regard to changing the process. I just want to point out, I went back and did some research. Our current board appointments ordinance requires an application be submitted and vetted by the clerk. So if we are going to change the process, we will have to change the ordinance. I just want to point that out to the commission.
Okay.
And we can talk about that further.
Okay. No, I just wanted to defer to the city manager about the administrative process of it. Because I think in a general sense, what we discussed during the agenda review was just to get a receipt, not to change, not for anything, but just to get a receipt, like, we have received your application. It doesn't mean you're accepted or.
Oh, yes.
Or things like that.
No, I was referring more toward Commissioner Turkin's comments about if the commission could vet them. And currently, our ordinance as written doesn't allow for that.
Well, as far as providing a receipt, I know a lot of us have submitted inquiries or either payments and things like that where you'll get a receipt emailed to you. I'll work with IT, and I'll get with Fred Harris, our IT director, to see if we can't come up with a process. The mayor has brought up things like this. I think a receipt system is actually a very good idea. So, and it seems pretty simplistic, so.
I did get feedback, though, somebody that did apply for a board, and they applied, and the next day they got a confirmation email.
Oh, they did? Okay.
As of the, Yeah, yeah. Somebody that applied for the Parks and Rec, I believe, but got a confirmation the next day.
Yeah, so I think part of it is when we have residents who maybe run into an issue or they have a hiccup, that we really just encourage you to meet, to call the clerk's office or call somebody at the city, because the only way that we're going to be able to troubleshoot any issues or concerns that we have is to really, and know what the process is or what's working or not working, is the follow-up. So reaching out to us is great, except we have no immediate access to that information. And so our staff is ready and willing to jump in and help. Maylee's amazing when it comes to advisory boards and everything else that she does. So, I encourage everyone to look at the appointments that are available, apply for the boards. If you run into an issue or you don't hear anything right away, reach out to city staff. We do want these boards to get filled with residents and have you participate in the process. And it is super important, but we know that sometimes I know I do it. I click cancel instead of send because the buttons are switched. And so sometimes, little things happen. And so we want to make sure that if you do, that you get your issues addressed and get that taken care of. So I think it comes down to, Dan, one thing that I had brought up not too long ago when it comes to advisory boards is that we're not pushing out through social media, what's available, what's out there, what the process is, what it means to sit on an advisory board. And so I think part of that, it would also be good to establish a point of contact. Maybe that's not Maylee, but maybe somebody from the clerk's office that's a point of contact, that if somebody wants to reach out and speak to somebody on the phone and just know that they're doing it correctly and running through the process, I think that would be important. But at the end of the day, it comes down to just communication. And having that out there, because most of the time the residents don't know. I mean, sometimes I don't even know who to contact. Thank God for Andrew, because, I don't necessarily know who to contact. So the residents who are not, involved in this process, won't have that information. So I think that would be helpful too, to really push that out and be a little bit more, informative when it comes to the advisory
I
boards.
know, we got quite a few boards, Commissioner Kelly, that I know for a fact we haven't got a lot of interest in for quite some time. So maybe pushing some of that stuff out on social media would be a great idea.
I
Maybe
agree.
publicizing a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then if these boards aren't making quorum, I think we need to do a holistic reevaluation of these boards and see if we want to continue them or not. Correct.
Yes.
I agree.
Well, there's not a lot of people standing in line to join these boards, and I think we, as a city or board or whatever, we need to market them a little bit better from an encouraging standpoint to get them to apply. Because as we look at this, we constantly roll through this advisory board vacancies, and we don't have a lot of people who are willing to serve. So I think we should take a look at that too, in terms of how can we encourage more of the people out of 82,000 plus people to serve on our boards for the city, because the opportunity is there, but many of them, they have cold feet. And I think we need to reach out to them as well as acknowledge when they do apply, and there's a responsibility on their part too to inquire. So I think working together, we can solve a lot of these vacancies that we have on the board.
Yes, we can. And I also sent out my newsletter today of over 14,000 emails, but it will be in my September newsletter for people to be able to access what is vacant and have it clarified a little bit more. Because again, I think when some people, even the email I got today is she thought she was applying for the board, not as an alternate. So there was a little bit of confusion there. But I will be putting that out in the next newsletter. So at least we'll know about 8,000 of the 14,000 actually opened the email. Okay, so you do not want to untable? Okay. So we have one application for the Building Board of Adjustment and Appeals, and there are 4 regular positions and 1 alternate position. This nomination goes to Commissioner Cruz. Would you like to make your motion?
Wendy?
I'll go ahead and appoint Wendy Shaw Saint.
Okay.
Second.
Commissioner Cruz moved to appoint Wendy Shaw Saint as a regular member of the Building Board of Adjustment and Appeals. Vice Mayor Hay seconded the motion. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We have one application for the Historic Resources Preservation Board. There are 3 regular positions and 2 alternate positions. This nomination goes to Commissioner Cruz. Would you like to make your motion?
Based on the feedback for the changes with the website, I would like to move this to a future meeting. Table, yeah, thank you.
Commissioner Cruz made a motion to table. Commissioner Turkin seconded the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We have one application for the Recreation and Parks Board, and we have 1 alternate position. The nomination goes to Vice Mayor Hay. Would you like to make your motion?
Yeah, I'd like to appoint Amanda Corin to that position.
And this is the resident that emailed me not wanting an alternate. Is there not another position? It says we have 1 application and we have 1 alternate. Okay, we'll just put her there. So Vice Mayor Hay moved to approve Amanda Cowan as an alternate member of the Recs and Park Board. Commissioner Kelly seconded the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We have 1 application for the Senior Advisory Board, and we have 2 alternate positions available. This nomination goes to Commissioner Kelly. Would you like to make your motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to appoint Bill Perkins to the alternate position on the Senior Advisory Board.
Second.
Commissioner Kelly moved to approve William Perkins as an alternate member of the Senior Advisory Board. Commissioner Turkin seconded the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. There are no applicants for the following boards, but we encourage residents to apply if you're interested. The Art Advisory Board, the Education and Youth Advisory Board, and Library Board. We will now be moving on to the consent agenda. If my colleagues want to pull any items from consent, let's begin to my left with Commissioner Turkin.
No, I'm okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly?
No, thank you.
Vice Mayor Hay?
No.
Commissioner Cruz? If there are no further changes, may we have a motion to approve the
Motion to
consent
approve.
agenda?
Second.
Vice Mayor Hay moved to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner Turkin seconded the motion. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes unanimously. Moving on to consent bids and purchases. If my colleagues would like to pull any items, let's begin to my right with Commissioner Cruz.
No, Mayor.
Vice Mayor Hay?
No.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes, 7H, please.
Okay. And Commissioner Turkin?
Nope. Commissioner Kelly already did. Thank you.
Motion to approve the remainder of consent.
Second.
Commissioner Kelly made the motion to approve the remainder of consent, and Commissioner Turkin made a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, and Commissioner Kelly, would you like to begin since you pulled this item?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, Andrew, as you know, this is brought to our attention during public comment, but I did want to just get kind of an understanding as far as, our contracts for body shops. And I know normally there's a list and we prioritize, but if you or staff could go over this item just for some clarification.
Yes, I can do, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So recently, when we got our new procurement director that came on, one of the things that he identified very quickly is the total spend by vendor. So one of the things you guys have been seeing a lot on here is increase in the annual expenditure, because what we're doing is the previous finance department, when they looked at it, they were allowing each department to spend certain up to the threshold of $50,000 for each department. Well, obviously that's not, that interpretation no longer is valid. So we're capping spend per vendor at $50,000. So you're feeling some of that pain here. We do use multiple vendors for this, and we, like Mr. Katz mentioned, we do have some local ones. We do anticipate going out for a bid for this, which in a lot of the contracts that we're looking, we want to be the front-end bidder, not a piggyback or try and get in quotes. It's more efficient. This particular item here is we have some some work that they need to do, so we're trying to get them additional money to finish that particular work out for the rest of the year. We do a rotation, but we do anticipate doing a bid, and we will look at potentially using other body shops in the area. And the other one of the other reasons why we're using this one a little bit more is their price is advantageous for the city. So we are saving quite a bit of money.
Okay. Yeah, that was my concern was the timeline of this. If we were agreeing to a long-term contract, it was just something that we're cleaning up, for the rest of this year. And, I would like to see, it's nothing new. It's nothing new to this board or the city that we like to keep our business in the city. But we also know that we have to be fiscally responsible to the residents and the taxpayers. So I get it. I'm glad to hear that we're pushing this forward and we'll reevaluate next year. Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Commissioner Kelly made the motion Commissioner Turkin made the motion to approve resolution number R25210. Commissioner Kelly made the second. R25210. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Okay.
We're good.
Now moving on to public hearing. We have two public hearing items. Public comment will be permitted on items 8A. I'll turn to the city clerk to read 8A into the record.
Proposed ordinance number 25-010, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Code of Ordinances Part 3, Land Development Regulations, Chapter 2, Land Development Process, Article 6, Impact and Selected Fees, and providing an effective date.
Good evening, Gabe Savigny, Principal Planner. This is the second reading. Staff does not have a presentation, and there were no changes from the first reading.
Great. Are there any comments or questions from the commission?
No.
Public comment is permitted at this time, with each person having 3 minutes. Okay.
None in the audience and none online.
Online?
No.
Public comment is now closed, and there are no further questions from the commission. If there's nothing else, may we have a motion to approve proposed ordinance number 25010? Commissioner Turkin moved to approve ordinance number 25010, and Vice Mayor made a second motion. Let's turn to the city clerk for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin?
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Yes.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
In a roll call vote, the motion passed unanimously.
Next on the agenda is the city manager's report. Dan, would you like to go ahead and start?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is an item that we've had a pretty comprehensive discussion up here as far as we want to take a look at some of the ordinances that are going to have a significant impact in our non-HOA communities. And one of the common complaints that I've gotten, I know the police chief has gotten, I know Andrew's gotten, I know you guys have, as the representatives for your respective districts have gotten, is parking. And a lot of times what happens is I don't feel like our ordinance is reflective of other cities, and I think we could probably do a better job of kind of giving it a little bit more teeth and strength, and we could work with the city attorney's office to do that. Some of the photos, some of the differing issues that we've saw are semi-trucks being parked in residential neighborhoods. We've seen upwards of sometimes 20, 30 cars parked on grass, parked in the swells. Sometimes they even Vice Mayor Hay brought up an example of, down by his residence when they have parties and things like that, some of our public safety vehicles, they can't access those roadways appropriately. So what we did, and it was actually Andrew, he had looked at the village of Wellington's, how they attack their parking situation and stuff, and we kind of piggybacked off the mayor's concerns and with Commissioner Turkin as well in the Forest Park area. And we looked at it and we're like, well, HOA communities don't really experience those, especially the gated ones. I know Renaissance Commons probably does have some parking issues as well. And this can be extended as long as those are agreements with the city and these HOAs. So it's a fairly comprehensive look at, hey, how can we look at enhancing and strengthening some of our parking ordinances, and we're going to need the commission's help in doing that. So this is from an administrative point, as us, Candace is the presenter, us providing you guys with all the details and maybe offering some suggestions from other cities of what we can actually implement here to help clean some of those issues up. And I've spoken with some representatives from other municipalities, and a lot of times they point to code enforcement as the tip of the spear when it comes to actually cleaning up and revitalizing a lot of these troubled areas. So I think I'm going to hand over the floor to Ms. Candace Stone, and I'll let her go forward with the presentation. We're looking at probably about 10 minutes, Mayor. So, and any
Gotcha, thank
Q&A
you.
afterwards.
I was asked
Excited
to go through
for
it. I was
this.
asked to go through it quickly, so it won't be 10 minutes. So good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Yes, what I have here is a presentation that the first slide, oh, can we have the other presentation first? Those are pictures, but we'll go through the ordinance first. Okay. So the first slide just really goes over, these are the current ordinances that we have that regulate some form of parking. What we're really looking to aim is to change section 14-5, the stopping, standing, parking, and storage are prohibited in specific places. And we'll go through that one in a minute. So the first one was abandoned property. That's what we use for when there's an abandoned vehicle on the public right-of-way. Then the second one was when we use it on the private property. Sorry, I clicked too fast. And then 14-3 is truck parking regulations. So we do have a 15-minute window, and that is all we allow for semi-trucks to be parked before we cite them. And code will cite them, and the Office of PD will get involved and issue tickets. And then we have, this is a continuance of it that just shows the fines that start at $100 and $200 and $500, which we currently pretty much on a daily basis use and go to special magistrate with that or through PD. So section 14-5 is the ordinance that we're looking to update to mirror Wellington. We already currently have these in place. The issue with our current ordinance, I highlight it, is right here, where we actually allow public, for parking to be on the public right-of-way, including swales and streets. There is a time limit to it, and this is what we're kind of want to change, so this will help alleviate the parking on the streets. It'll help alleviate the parking on the swales, and along with the grass, because what we're proposing to look at, we also have conditions for parking for recreational vehicles and boats. Currently, right now, you're allowed to have 2 boats or 2 trailers on the property.
Sorry, Candace, can you say that you're allowed 2 boats?
Correct. Caboose.
Behind the line, right, behind the,
So as it stands right now, no, you are allowed to have 2 boats or 2 trailers as long as it's on a hard surface in the front of your house, or you can have it on the side past the front line.
okay.
Or
If
in
it's
the back.
not on a hard surface.
If it's not on a hard surface, correct, cannot have it in the front at all.
Did I see in the first slide, though, is it after 10 days it's a towing?
For abandoned vehicles,
Yeah.
it's 10 days when it's on private property.
Why so long?
That's the ordinance, is a state statute as well.
Okay.
It
They-
gives the
it's private
resident a
property.
chance to.
To alleviate, yeah. And then when it's on public property, it's 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So when you see the green or orange sticker, that means code's already been there, or police, and we're working on getting it removed.
Thank you.
Donna, is that the standard? Sorry.
So there is a state statute that governs how much notice you have to give, and I believe that you have to put the sticker on for a period of time, and then you have to contact the registered owner, and I think the period is 7 days, but if you do like the 3 days plus the 7 days, I know I've looked at it, but it's been a while. And actually, we are bringing our abandoned property ordinance, we revamped the entire thing, and it's coming back to you on August 19th. So you may see some changes with that as well.
I think when I was doing my research, I did see a couple of cities had a shorter time period, so I'm not sure if the state preempts it, so we might be able to shorten that time.
Yeah.
We can look into it before we bring it.
Yeah, I would hope so, just because of what we're seeing.
And it might
on
be
the pu-
5
on the-
days.
on the,
Because I know it
public.
differs for boats versus on the waterway versus cars versus there's different timeframes. And I think we pretty much mirrored the statute in the new. We'll look at that, Candace.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And see where we're
I
at.
don't have a problem with the cars on the road.
You'll be seeing
so
it at
anything
next
to-
meeting.
Got it.
Well,
Okay.
in 5 days seems like we had a boat that just showed up on the side of the road in District 4 in Sandalwood, and it's sitting there. And so 5 days seems like a long time for it to sit there on a swale, you know, just in the middle, like it was just dropped off.
Boats on the swale?
Yeah, on a trailer, just sitting on the side. So 5 days seems like a long time when you're talking about.
I'm surprised that's happening over there.
And, you know, so that seems like a long time. So maybe if we can just look and see what other cities are doing as far as the time of that, because, you know, to have to keep getting phone calls about why there's a boat sitting on the side of the road. But thank you, Candace. You can keep going, sorry.
Yeah,
I know, right?
we'll double check that. It's just if the state statute allows it, then go stricter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shauna, you can
Real
clarify.
quick clarification. Does this include like you know, a homemade auto shop in someone's backyard?
Right.
So if
Or
we
is this
can,
just visible from the front yard?
it's visible from front. If we could see an inoperable vehicle in someone's backyard through either a neighboring property or they have a, you know, back up to some type of easement where we can see, we can cite for it. But the tow truck wouldn't be able to tow it, so it would just
Right.
essentially go to special magistrate and have daily fines. And that's for even ones in the front yard, if it's not accessible to the tow truck, then it'll just sit there and have daily fines until they decide to remove the vehicle.
So our ordinances now don't include, even if they were operable, I just think 3 or 4 cars in someone's backyard running them. I mean, there's environmental issues with that. There's a lot that goes with that.
If we could prove that they're doing mechanic work, yes, if we can observe it, we can cite for it.
Okay.
But we have to be able to observe it
Even
some way.
But with our code today, let's say they're not changing their oil, you know, or doing whatever. 3 or 4 cars in the backyard. I mean, that's just not.
That's what I was just
I
going to
mean,
ask.
we do have drones. I mean,
I was just gonna
we've
ask that.
invested a lot of money in the police
You
department.
know, that was a question for us, if we were allowed to use drones, because police department. 'cause-
Look at
Let's
the
talk
law
about
on
that.
that.
Let's talk about that
See?
offline.
Yeah, that was brought up recently.
Thank you, legal.
Well, we know there's body
We'll
shops.
talk about it offline.
Yeah, we know there's body shops operating, or mechanic shops operating in the district. There's one on Southwest First Avenue.
Yeah.
Right to the
Yeah.
west of the hotel. And, the neighbors are afraid to report it or let it in. So you know, that's the problem we're going to continue to
Right.
have if we don't start doing something.
Yeah. And
A lot of times
I
we'll just limit
Give
it.
you an update on that, but there is case law
Yeah, I
about
figured.
what can be done to observe violations and what we can do to do
Okay.
that.
Okay. All right, continue, thank
And,
you.
so I saw the first citation is $100. Obviously, you guys can draft this up, bring it back to us via ordinance, right?
Well, she was highlighting our current ordinance. This is what Wellington does, which I
Right,
think is
but I'm
what we're
saying if
looking to
gonna start
mirror.
Fining, it's, from what I saw.
Oh, you
it
want to
starts
up,
with
you want to
$100.
up the fine amount?
Right. Well, no,
Okay.
what I want to do is send out notices before we start, you know.
Oh, no, that happens.
wrecking, Right? Like,
Yeah, you have to give
everyone deserves
notice.
a fair shot.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
give notice before
Okay.
we give them a ticket. So we give them that fine. Yeah, it's a very common code that we use. It's literally in special magistrate probably every other month.
Perfect, thank you.
Let me be clear on something. One of our citizens brought up an issue about parking on the road waiting for the AAA, I guess, to pick up. Is there a rule that 30 minutes is the maximum that that car could be waiting for someone like AAA? Do we have anything on our books like that? I never heard of it.
That's the police department would have to really talk about that. I'm
Well,
not
I
underware about.
would like to have some type of response to that. If Chief Julio or someone who can speak for him, I would like to know that, because I want to know how to respond to this gentleman who brought up that issue about parking. I've never heard of such a rule, and if there is, so be it. But can someone clarify that for me?
And you really can't control how long AAA is going to be,
No.
take, so that's
That
the
seems
problem.
a little crazy that
That sounds,
we
yeah,
would,
that sounds a little strange.
Chief Dale, Commissioner, the question again?
The question is, one of our citizens spoke in public audience that his car was parked on the side of the road, broken down, so to speak, and he was waiting for AAA, but the city, I don't know who it was, but said that he couldn't be there any longer than 30 minutes and towed his car away and cost him $250 to get it back. I just want to know, is there such a rule on our books or in the PD department, or what are we doing here? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's a rule of 30 minutes. It would be situational. If a vehicle was parked in creating a traffic hazard, it may be that the officer could have only stayed there for so long with his lights behind him before he finally had to call his own tow truck. He probably gave them an opportunity to move it on their own first, and when he was unsuccessful in securing a tow, it sounds like the officer at that point would have no choice but to tow the vehicle and remove it from
And
the
I
roadway.
understand what you're saying, officer, I really do, but my understanding was that he was just on the road where his car broke down. Like if my car broke down on Federal Highway, you know, I have no control over the location where it breaks down. Could be, you know, in front of, you know, Goodyear or something. I just want to know, do we have such a rule? I'm not trying to point fingers or cause any kind of, you know, I just want to know, is there such a law on our books? And if there's not, let's look into it and clean it up.
It would be officer discretion. If the vehicle's causing a traffic hazard and it's a danger to motorists on the roadway, then he would have the discretion to tow it from the.
Vice Mayor, if I may, I think what would be best is if we did some due diligence and seeing if we can get the report and just forward it to the Commissioner 2 or the Vice Mayor in District 2.
Sure. We'll
That way
find-
he has the actual facts of the incident instead of taking things at face value during public comment.
Yes. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if we have the actual incident, we can
Okay.
find the location, and we can also do some research on the state laws that actually give officers the
Okay.
legal authority to
Do that
remove
for
vehicles.
me, and I'm happy.
Sure.
Candace, if you want to continue?
Okay, so basically, what we're looking to update is to kind of mirror Wellington, which is what's in front of you right now, where they don't allow parking on the streets, they don't allow parking on your grass, they don't allow parking spots. Basically, you're parking in your approved parking at your house, whether it's your house or commercial property, wherever. They do have an exemption, you know, it does say like if there's a party or a special event going in your house, that is a time frame which you can, you know, have people park in front of your house or on your grass or something. So it'd be a situation like that. The rest of the slides that I have here are all other cities in the county that pretty much have very similar ordinances. They all do not allow parking on your grass, parking on the swale, or public parking on the roadways. So I just put them in here for reference. That way you can see that, you know, we're kind of one of the only cities left in the county that's doesn't have an ordinance that's updated to not allow for parking on the streets, right-of-ways, grass. And that would solve a lot of issues within the community and also in the commercial areas as well. So we're asking that, yes, if we can update, if you guys would, you know, talk and discuss and see if we can update that to allow no parking on the grass, no parking in swales, no parking on the right-of-way, which means the roads as well, to help clear up that congestion.
and just the thing I noticed about Wellington, I don't want to just blanket, like, yes, we're going to accept Wellington, is they talk about recreational vehicles and boats and stuff. I don't want to change what we currently do unless we know, I mean, I wouldn't want to to change District 3 and District 2 and how
boats
they
should
handle
stay.
boats and recreational vehicles. So I want to make sure that that doesn't get snuck in because we say, oh yeah, we like what Wellington does. So I want to make that very clear that that's not.
No,
Something.
we're only looking to update 14-5. So the boat and recreational is a completely different ordinance. I put it in there just so you're aware of the different types of parking regulations we have currently.
Semis and buses are not allowed, correct?
No.
Because we got those in the neighborhood.
No.
We got
no.
pictures for you if anyone wants to see
Yes,
them.
semis are a little difficult. They get ticketed by PD. We work together, PD and code. Code goes out their stickers, it calls PD out, they help ticket it. And a lot of times, unfortunately, just come right back either a week later or so, and
Are they paying their fines?
I don't know, because it goes through the civil,
Yeah,
court.
like, I don't know if we're privy to that information, but
And-
love to know.
And just what do we do? How do we, this is citywide, so the question, but how is code receiving these issues and these concerns? Because, and if you're relying on PD, then that would explain why District 4 always has dump trucks and semis on the road because we don't
Oh, no,
really have a lot of patrolling happening in District 4, but, so if we're relying, so how are we getting that information? Because I know I text Andrew or I text somebody and say, hey, there's another semi truck. It's been parked on Minor Road all weekend long without any care in the world. So I'm
Right.
just wondering how is this information being transported to code? Because, I mean, and I get 100%, and this is that, District 2 and District 3 get the focus and get the code officers driving around. But we do have an issue in District 4 as well. And so if you're going to rely on me or residents or somebody else to make that phone call, then I need to know where to give that information because I'm getting it from residents. I'm passing it along. I hope it's being followed up on. So I heard you say that the police department notifies code and does
no,
this.
we notify police. So we usually go out there, sticker it, we notify police to sign the ticket. So, and it goes both ways. Sometimes police comes to us too. But most of the time we're citing for these things are through, yes, we get complaints from residents. They'll come on my Boynton Rock Solid, they'll come through you guys, they'll come through city managers. And then there's proactive inspections. Now, unfortunately for your district and on the west side, we were short-staffed for many, many months. We just now got someone full-time covering that zone. I did have the supervisors sweeping there. So I will say that was a big part and a challenge on the north side of the city because a lot of the attention really did go on the east side. But now we do have someone there. We have someone on Saturdays, we have somebody on Sundays, and they've been instructed to start sweeping them, make sure to stick them. That's what they're looking for.
Right, so I'm glad to hear that, thank you. One of our biggest issues in District 4 are the semis and the dump trucks who likely live in the trailer park or live on the other side of the canal on Minor Road, and they park overnight. And so they park at 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night after people leave. And then this morning, I'm walking at 5:15 in the morning, and the lights are on and they're leaving. And so they've not been notified, they have not been cited, they have
Right.
no idea. I mean, I'm sure they know that they're not supposed to be parking there, but there's, now we've missed an opportunity to enforce a rule that we've had on our books forever, and we're not enforcing a rule that we have. And so, so I'm glad to hear that you have somebody that's designated for the western side of the city so that we can get some attention. But there has to be some overnight, some outside of the normal 9 to 5, especially when it comes to semis and dump trucks and illegally parking on swales and stuff like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
No, it's been a week for me.
Yeah, you see it when it happens in your neighborhood, you're like, all right. So, Commissioner Kelly, I definitely agree with let's not touch the boats. A lot of people move to the non-HOA neighborhoods so they can park their trailer there, gateway to the Gulf Stream. I don't want to touch that issue right now. I do think, though, to piggyback off what Commissioner Kelly had mentioned, and this is maybe, again, I brought this up for like the last 6 months of a task force The firefighters, the police, you guys get sick CBA contracts. So like, I want to see some collaboration, right? Like, we invest heavily in our police and fire department. And if there's time to go to Publix, if there's time to do all these other things, if there's time to sit around, there is time to work with code enforcement and take the burden off of them. Everyone in public safety and code should know these ordinances, right? See something, say something. And that's how we work together, and that's how we get it done, so the burden isn't just on Candace, right? Leveraging those public safety aides at 4:35 in the morning, right? And partnering with code. And Commissioner Cruz brought something up, I don't know, a year or so ago about hazard pay, or some type of additional compensation, because being a code officer is not an easy job. It's conflict resolution, you're dealing with people, you never know who you're dealing with. And so, for me, I just care about that getting done, because that, when you have a task force and you're able to utilize and leverage multiple people to accomplish something, we're going to see a huge change economically in the city, right? You have billions of dollars being invested in our downtown. I was driving around the other day, and I thought to myself, if I was going to raise a family, if I'm a father married with a few kids, am I going to move here to raise a family? When I see 18 cars in one driveway, a plethora of undesirable activity going on, just like houses that look like, that have opportunities, I should say, I try to be nice, and like, not where $1 billion is, or billions of dollars are being invested, right? We should really be focused on, obviously all the districts, at the core, because if I'm driving around the downtown and I'm looking at a place in the Meadows and I'm looking at a place of Renaissance Commons, right? And I'm going to spend my time downtown in Boynton Beach, and I drive a couple streets over and the street lights are out, where there's 14 cars in a driveway, or there's like trash cans with trash all over. That is unacceptable. And we got to really turn the heat up, because do we want Boynton Beach to be the best thing in Palm Beach County? Do we really want to take pride in what we're doing, or do we want to give lip service? So I'll put my money where my mouth is. If it's a matter of funding, if it's a matter of, increased staff, I've been trying to get more code officers every budget year, and I know we're working with the CRA to get that done. Like, let's be aggressive on this. Let's be hyper aggressive on this. And I'm asking the fire chief and I'm asking the police chief to be as ambitious and as passionate as we are up here. Because we always support you guys and we always support your people. It's time for you guys to do the same for us. Thank you.
And is it correct that we do have code enforcement 7 days a week? Is that just in the east?
No,
all over.
it's all over right now. The next thing I'm trying to do, because with the CRA code officers that we're hoping to get, very close to getting, they will only be allowed on the east side in the CRA. So even though I can change their schedules, I need some also on the west side that's going to be in the morning or in the evening. So I've already talked to my staff, let them know that these changes are going to start coming, that I'm going to have to probably fluctuate some of their schedules to stagger them a little bit. They are union, so I have to go through the union as well. So it's not a quick change. But I did want to mentally prepare them that I'm just trying to figure out what's going to be best for the city, their zones, and the morale at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
One more thing, I'm sorry. So I will say, though, I do want to thank the streets team with the police department. I know they're actively working on Pelican Point, and they're working with code. So that I want to see that, but amplified, right? And then I think also, too, if all these, I don't want to like jump in on your toes, Dan, but operationally, if everyone's trained with the Boynton app, right, and they can submit the tickets, right?
The problem we have is citizens don't want to, because.
I'm not talking about the citizens. I'm talking about
us
code. I'm talking
internally.
about police.
Yeah.
I'm talking about fire.
Yep.
If they see, they're on the clock.
Getting to work.
If you're waiting over here in this back parking lot and I catch you at 5:30 in the morning again, and I drive down and I'm there every morning I'm here, and I see, 2 or 3 cars and they're just sitting there. It hasn't been as recent because I said something to the chief, and there's a bunch of trash or there's some, something going on. Why do I have to do that? Why does a resident have to do that if someone's getting paid full-time sick benefits, right, and they're just sitting there? To me, that is unacceptable with how much we have invested into these departments. So I'm just asking, meet us halfway.
I will tell you that police reached out like 2 weeks ago about Pelican Point and offered assistance, and we're actually getting together to see what we can do, other options for
That's what I'm
public
talking
employment.
about.
Collaborate.
But my point is, I've been screaming about this for 3 years. Say again? 20 years. Okay,
20.
the mayor's been 20 years. And so
Probably came
like,
out of it.
let's play 20 years of catch up,
Now you're in the right seat.
you know? And,
mean,
you know,
this
and
weekend
and we
alone,
got
Pelican
support
looked
now,
like they
right?
root.
So I appreciate my colleagues for supporting
Yeah.
and this, and Mayor, this has been one of your big initiatives, and, you know, again, I want this to be one of our forefront initiatives. Because of this comes much better things. You have economic prosperity, right? The property values will increase, property values increase, school districts increase. You know what I mean? More people will move to the neighborhood, but that doesn't happen if we're not going above and beyond.
Correct.
So I want the standard to be set high. When we did our strategic plan, we talked about doing a gold standard of customer excellence with Lyle. I want that gold standard. And I want that and that doesn't rest just on Candace or the city manager. You know, it's one Boynton, one team, right? And so I really want that to be a hard initiative in this next budget year. And if there's things that, you know, there's ideas from, you know, even code officers have ideas on how we can get that done and what they need, right? I want to hear those ideas. I want to see those amendments in the budget before we adopt it finally. Because for me, this is very, very important, and I see the potential ROI in spending to, you know, maybe it's a couple of years where we really, you know, invest in personnel, overtime, you know, resources, but what we'll see in return will be unmatched.
And I also don't know if this is even permitted, but it would be nice to be able to kind of get updates on our districts for
That's what I was just about
how
to
many,
say.
I wanna see
Mayor.
pictures.
how many complaints are coming out and then the result, because the app shows you that it's fixed right away.
We're in the process of moving because we had an incident, it was investigated, and I'm big on analytics,
Yeah.
meaning that I want you guys to be getting analytics on each of your districts. I can do that through the police department. And when I asked for those analytics, we didn't have the appropriate capability through Naviline, which is our ERP system, which we're updating with Workday. Again, this is another thing that we had spoke about. So there's changes coming, and I always liken the city to the Titanic. It takes time to kind of turn the ship and right it and get away from the iceberg. We're in the process of doing that. And obviously I'm passionate about it. I want to see the city cleaned up and doing the beautification team, fully staffing the police department, getting the code. I was looking at, there's differing community standards firms out there also we could look at maybe bringing in on a part-time basis to address the parking issue alone, and you can kind of narrow the scope, and maybe they can pick up the weekends, they can pick up some of the evenings, because vendors are going to be more apt to do that, and you don't run into the union aspect of that if you go outside the CBAs. So.
Well, I do want to say that in 20 years, this is the first week, 7 days in a row, there has not been a couch or a mattress out on Seacrest, so thank you very much.
I told the code officer.
Tomorrow morning, there's going to be one, though.
You know what, though?
I know, don't
We made it a
jinx it.
week. We made it a week, and even driving around, we changed code as of the first to the bulk to Friday. There was only like 2 people that really didn't get it. Like I drove the east today because they would have thought that their pickup was today, and there was 2. I get it. They just changed it, but I just was I was counting the days last week. I said day 2, day 3, day 4, and we made it. We've made it 7 days. No couches, toilets, or mattresses.
Could I just get consensus if you guys want to venture down that, of maybe us going outside the CBAs with the unions and looking at a firm that we can kind of, or vendor to bring in if we do an RFP or something like that, Andrew, to supplement code?
Just to get us caught up, is what you're saying, like, and when we have like
Meaning that they would
influx
essentially
or-
have the same authority as code, but they're not going to be entered into that CBA agreement where she has to stagger schedules and things of that nature. So,
They could fight it.
yeah, you're not dealing with the whole CBA agreements and things
I mean,
like that.
literally a 4:30 to 10:30 a.m. shift is going to be life-changing and revenue-driven.
Whatever
It's-
those needs are, we can provide the scope within, whenever we send it out to bid, so.
I
Is
support
that
it.
common? Is it common? I'm unaware of
Correct,
that.
yeah, those firms do exist.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I would just want to see that scope of work too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And make sure
Maybe you
it's
can bring us some more
identical
information.
and-
Yeah.
I had briefly spoke with Adam before he went on vacation. When he gets back, we'll get with him again. So, and maybe Candace, you can do a little due diligence and see how many different vendors actually offer that service.
Yeah,
So.
oh, definitely. That'll help out.
Exciting. I'm smiling.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Okay. Any other questions?
My only question is when are we gonna have the first reading of the ordinance be?
Well,
It probably won't be till September, because we have a lot of ordinances coming up.
No,
I
I'm not
mean-
here for the first.
Anyway, we
September
could
meeting.
kind of move it up a little
I'm
bit
in Utah.
because, as we know, this is a big concern, parking and all of that, so.
And then
I
I
would-
will,
and it
we'll be
could- And
gone.
we've pretty much had consensus on it, so it might
Yeah.
just be a simple reading first, second, and.
Okay. August 19th would be the first, and then the next meeting is September 5th, so I was just asking, because
The September
Our-
2nd.
no, today is
No, but the next
August,
meeting-
but
September
August
2nd.
19th and then September 2nd. My
Right.
only issue is the time frame to get stuff on the agenda and to have the ordinance ready, because
Published next Tuesday for the 19th.
we publish next Tuesday,
I won't
so,
be here on the 2nd. I'm in Utah.
Okay.
And I want to be here for that.
yeah, that means basically I have a week to draft the ordinance. I'll get it done.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Vacation.
I have faith.
I have,
I do too. Vice Mayor, do you have any
And-
comments before? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just one other question,
Hold on, she's not done
just to be clear. Right now, I get the question from people, who do I turn to when the streets are blocked? Sometimes the people have to turn around and go the opposite way. I tell them to call them the PD department, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, the police department.
I tell
If
them to
it's in
call the
the road,
PD
yes.
department.
You're correct. If it's in the road, yes, because as of right now, code enforcement can only handle inoperable vehicles. That's something that has to change too, along with this code and with the CBA and with Florida Department, because that's what we have right now legally being able to do.
I mean, because if we had a fire or an emergency, the trucks could not get through some of these crowded.
I have heard the fire chief say
Cars.
he will make it through.
Yeah.
He will make it through.
Yeah,
He said that the truck
Person
will
might
make
not
it
have a
through.
car anymore, but.
There was a gas leak
Yeah.
about 2 months
But-
ago in
Yeah.
Seacrest near
But
Woolbrain.
still-
They had to go back to the back way.
I get so sick of trying to navigate. I know it's just a personal problem, but it is our problem too. That we have to navigate through these streets, and you don't want to keep bothering the PD with, with. I don't say it's minor, because if you had an emergency, it would be a problem.
Right.
It would really be a serious problem. And we're trying to get the response time reduced down to whatever minimum we can get it. I understand that. But I guess the only option is to just call PD, huh?
At the moment.
At
yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz, I know you had something else to say.
thank you, Mayor. I think Andrew just answered it, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions before we move on?
No, just, Candace, can you just follow, there was a resident in public comment that spoke about a car that's been parked, it has spider webs, and can you give did you take care of that?
I did, and I
Okay.
let him know that that came to my attention today earlier, and we opened a case. The code officer actually saw it himself on last Friday, cited for it, but I had him go out today. I said, well, even though he cited for it, call PD to come out and ticket it as well. Even if they ticketed it before, ticket it again, because it's still sitting there. They can do a new ticket every day.
Right.
So, and then we'll try to get it towed. I told Andrew I'll follow up tomorrow to see if it appears inoperable. If there is a flat tire, then we can also sticker it to be towed.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the regular agenda, I will turn to the city clerk to read 10A into the record.
Proposed ordinance number 25-006, first reading, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Part 2, Chapter 27, Article 1, Section 27-2, Board or Committee Member Selection, Organization, Qualifications, Term, establishing limited authority to waive certain appointment requirements, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Staff, would you like to begin your presentation?
Yeah, do you have a PowerPoint pulled up for me?
If IT can put the PowerPoint up, please?
It's up.
Oh, they did. Thank you.
Good evening, Ian Grigorchik, Assistant City Attorney. I'll walk us through the changes to the ordinance real quick. Before I do that, I want to clarify. something which might have been a little bit of confusion about. There's actually no advisory board in Boynton Beach that requires solely residency within the city. There's language requiring you to be an elector of Palm Beach County, and then there's a preference language where Boynton Beach residents get first preference, and then if you're an owner of a business or a property owner in the city, you can actually serve as well. There's also no Florida statute that requires members of municipal advisory boards to be residents of the city. There's only one advisory board in Boynton Beach that actually has that language within the ordinance for the board, and that's the Art Advisory Board. Requires 5 of the 7 members to be city residents or also to be business owners within the city. So I just want to clarify that before we move forward. You guys already spoke about it a little bit this meeting, but we've been having a challenge filling some of our advisory boards, especially some of those that require more specialized degrees, or like for a member to hold a certain certificate, such as the Historic Preservation Board. I think some of those we've actually received 0 qualified candidates. So proposed solution to amend the language of section 27.2 to allow for limited waiver authority. So this would allow you to waive requirements for when there's specific qualifications, such as the specific degrees, certifications, the residency requirement, a prohibition on serving multiple boards, and the 2-term limit. And I'll stay here because that's the important slide and answer any questions.
So this waiver just allows us to waive any of these?
Yes, it allows you to waive any specific requirements. For example, if it requires an engineer who is also a resident, and maybe you don't have enough qualified engineers, you could either waive the engineering requirement and appoint someone who's a resident, or you could seek a qualified engineer who maybe has important contacts in the city or does jobs in the city but doesn't have a business here, and you could waive that. You could also waive the residency requirements. You can waive the multiple board prohibition. So if you have a person who's really dedicated, maybe they're a retired individual, and maybe they would like to serve on the senior board and another board, you could waive that. When there is an additional term that maybe that person has been in the term, you can waive them having to wait out for a year, or the 2-term limit, when it's in the best public interest of the city. And again, so these waivers have to come before the commission, and certain findings have to be made. For example, it's in the best interest and where we can't find another qualified person. It just opens up the ability to get more qualified people because we are having problems. And if we can get qualified people from outside the city, again, has to be approved by the board.
As needed basis?
Sounds
I
good.
would-
Sounds good.
Thank you. I would definitely focus on the expertise. I think there was one board you mentioned, like maybe having an engineer. I would caution on removing, specificity about like knowledge or context, and making sure that people that are on certain boards have knowledge. For example, the arts board, you want somebody who knows about art, right? Or things of that nature. So that's just something that I was thinking about.
Yeah, and actually, so these will be on a case-by-case basis, and you guys will have, it'll be a resolution item with a discussion regarding whether or not you want to approve that waiver, and then finding if it's in the best public interest because you are having difficulty finding other qualified candidates. And as a board, you can decide whether or not you're willing to waive it or not.
Yeah, I like that. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments from the?
No.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Turkin made a.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
My apologies. I'm looking at page 2 of the presentation. I don't know where in the ordinance this is, but for alternative qualifications, can we add something with regard to knowledge, skills, abilities, or context related to the boards?
The boards already state what is required in there.
Okay.
All we are adding is that in certain instances, the board at the discretion can waive it. That's all that's being added.
Commissioner Turkin moved to approve ordinance number 25-006 on the first reading. Vice Mayor Hay seconded the motion. Let's turn to the city clerk for a roll call.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay.
Yes.
Mayor Shelton.
Yes.
And roll call vote, the motion passed unanimously.
Great. I will turn to the city clerk to read 10B into the record.
Proposed ordinance number 25-011, first reading, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 3, Elections of the City Code of Ordinances to retitle Section 2-42 to read Candidate Requirements and Qualifications, Official Ballot and Filing Fees, establishing qualifying requirements, modifying the number of petitions required to run for office and the amount of campaign filing fee, and creating Section 2-48 entitled Campaign Signs, Bonds, Penalties, and Financial Responsibility, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Doc, go ahead and do your
Run
presentation.
through a refresher on the changes being made there as well. The candidate requirements, we added a few requirements there. Sorry, there you go. You can see those. The candidate petitions, for commissioner, we increased the signatures required to 50 signatures. For mayor, we increased that to 100 signatures. Campaign filing fee, that was $25 in the city of Boynton Beach. We increased that to 2% of the salary of the position being sought, whether that's mayor or commissioner. And finally, the signed bond fees. We did not have one in Boynton Beach. We created that, $500 signed bond fee. We also required that to be paid from the candidate's personal funds. Candidates are required to sign an affidavit affirming that, and then they have 10 days to remove signs or they will forfeit that signed bond fee. Thank you.
Perfect.
I'm happy. I don't have any questions. Do you, Vice Mayor Hay?
I'm happy.
Commissioner, oh, she's out.
Yeah, motion to
Motion,
approve.
second.
Commissioner Turkin moved to approve ordinance number 25-011 on first reading. Vice Mayor Hay seconded the motion. Let's turn to the city clerk for a roll call.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz.
Stepped out.
Vice Mayor Hay.
Yes.
Mayor Shelton.
Yes.
And roll call vote, the motion passed 4-0.
The final item for tonight, thank you so much. The final item for tonight is proposed resolution number R25-214 to ratify the selection of members appointed to the Charter Review Committee by each member of the City Commission, and discussion of the first public meeting. Staff, if you could please begin this discussion.
So each person on the board has provided me with a name, and so the resolution merely identifies the members selected. What was required of the original resolution is a joint meeting between the city commission and those members. I propose that we set aside time on August 19th if you don't require a special meeting, because the time frame for them to bring back proposed changes is very, very short. We need to get the ball rolling. So there needs to be a discussion between you and the board members about, just if there's anything specific you want looked at. And of course, they have authority to look at the entire thing themselves and bring forward other recommendations based upon a majority vote. But that is the time for you to go ahead and state any particular items you want them to look at. So I just need some discussion about whether you want it August 19th as part of our August 19th meeting, or if you would like a special meeting.
Starting and then starting the commission meeting afterwards?
Right.
Like we've done with the,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
shade
right.
meetings?
Let's start the meeting. Let's start
Are
early.
these 5 names confirmed now?
Yes, they are. Would you like to know who? Well,
I
once
like-
you vote, they will be.
When we vote?
Well, you're just ratifying the selection.
Yeah, but,
Correct.
yeah,
Would you like the 5 names?
sure. So rest of people can hear.
Open it for you. Okay. Oh, my gosh. Sorry. I don't have it here.
Get it off the top of my head.
And I
You do?
have to-
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, the mayor's is Jerry Taylor. Vice mayor is Reverend Dames. Commissioner Cruz is Phyllis Bassetti. Commissioner Kelly's is David Katz, and mine is Angela Ternowski's.
That is,
Photographic
What was
memory.
yours?
Thank you very
That's-
much.
What was yours?
Angela
Andrew Tranowski.
Troinowski.
I don't know how to spell that.
so with regard to the meeting on August 19th, would we like to start at 5:30 or 6?
Keep it at 6, and
Okay.
then just, we'll,
Roll
I
into
don't,
it afterwards.
yeah, I don't imagine it being terribly.
Okay, so we will, the clerk will do a notice of a joint meeting beginning at 6 o'clock, or I'll prepare the notice, one of us will, with the regular meeting to start thereafter. Just to fill you in, with regard to a joint meeting between the Charter Review Committee and the commission to discuss what, if you have any specific items that you want them to look at. Okay?
Andrew, does the August meeting, does the next meeting look like a heavy meeting, or is this doable, and is it going to cause, I just, for time's sake and everyone,
There's a lot of public hearing items, I believe, on the 19th. I don't know that it's a heavy item from consent or anything like that, but there are some significant items on that meeting, the 19th. There's at least 8 or 9.
Imagine this is gonna take half an hour.
right?
Yeah, I can't
Okay.
either.
Half an hour.
Yeah.
Yes, and at that meeting, we'll also just discuss
Exactly.
the,
You want to start at 5:30?
I'm okay with
Fine.
start at
Start at
5:30.
5:30,
Yeah.
that's
Okay,
fine.
let's start at 5:30.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
okay. And
Start at 5:30.
at that meeting, we'll also, with input from them, set our first charter review meeting.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Shana.
Okay.
If I could.
Just need a motion on the resolution.
Oh, motion to approve.
To approve. Second.
Commissioner Turkin moved to approve resolution number R25-214. Vice Mayor Hayes seconded the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The motion passes unanimously.
Mayor, if I could?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. David Katz, Boynton Beach. First, I want to thank the commission for the confidence they have in myself, former Mayor Taylor, and the others they've appointed. One is, I would appreciate, and I'm sure the others, nobody else is here, transmitting to us either through hard copy or an attachment, a copy of the charter.
Yes.
Another thing is that I'm hoping, this is just my personal preference, that Stacy Weininger would be our contact, because she has the chocolates. But, yeah, and that, will we have to meet in the chambers, or, because like, the last time there was a charter review committee, we met in a library conference room with a clerk recording it and the city attorney at the time.
It does have to be a public meeting, so a
Well,
lot of.
they were public meetings too, but that's where they were, that's all.
I think the equipment is set up in here.
That's not a
for the
problem, I'm
most
just
part.
asking. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would appreciate, a copy of the charter either through attachment to. an
Sure, I
email or-
can, if I can get,
or
I'll
hard
get
copies.
everyone's email addresses and get that together. We can get that at the August 19th meeting, and I'll make sure
Thank
that
you.
I get, I have yours, but I need
Why
everyone's.
don't we,
10 chairs
why don't
up
we
here.
give each of the members of the charter committee a copy of the physical charter?
That'd be
No,
great.
I can, I just don't, oh, you want me to print it out?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I
I-
can.
At least that's how I function.
what he said.
I take
Two.
notes.
Print?
I'm just asking, thank you so much.
Thank
I think
you.
that would make
Okay.
sense.
Okay, does anyone have, Commissioner Kelly, do you have something?
Yes, I meant to ask about it at the beginning of the meeting, but I know we talked about, Commissioner Turkin, I know we've bounced it off a couple of times. Is there a joint meeting with the CRA in the works? Or has there been discussions, because we got an email today about discussions about other properties and some other things, and so I just want to it seems to, when we say it here, it happens. So I would like to schedule another joint meeting with the CRA so we can discuss properties and projects and moving things forward. And I think after the next meeting that we have would probably be a good time, because I think that meeting will have some things solidified. So that is my request. So if staff could just work on that in the background, I would appreciate it.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, you may.
No, I definitely agree. I think we've already had this conversation about making
That's
this a
why,
regular
yeah.
thing. So city manager, I don't know if, things fall through the cracks, I understand that. But let's make sure that we're communicating and corresponding with the interim executive director, and we're having these regular meetings, because as we know, there's a huge overlap, and we should be all moving in one direction versus
Should be
here
an
and here.
overlap.
And so.
There should be,
There should be an overlap, but there's a disconnect.
correct.
I was trying to be modest, but,
No, but you know what? I think that it's important for us, if we have a commission meeting, and at the commission meeting, we say we want to have a meeting, then we can have a city staff member send an email to somebody at the CRA
yeah,
to communicate
absolutely.
that things are happening.
Right.
And not just assume that they might be watching the meeting. They could be, but, we have to give people a little grace.
And follow
No, but
up.
what I'm saying is I brought it up in CRA meetings and then
Yep.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
there's-
happen.
I
So
mean, I
that's
had
why
a
I'm
whole-
saying, if I bring it up here, it tends to happen. So I want to make sure
Right.
that it happens.
Yes.
Because it is important, and I brought it up many times in both meetings, that collaboration is so important
Yes.
between the two entities, and the more that we have these consistent meetings, the more we can start really collaborating, because I feel like we talk about different things, staff talks about all these great ideas and things they want to do, and then we hit a brick wall, because there's no collaboration amongst there's a huge disconnect, and it's very
100%.
frustrating to me that we have this issue, and I feel like it just continues. So I'm asking that staff please work with the CRA staff to schedule a joint meeting in the next, doesn't have to be, September, whatever, but let's get on a consistent basis,
Yes.
whether that be
I agree.
once a month at our city meeting or once every 2 months or whatever, but get on a consistent basis, because we really have to start collaborating and looking, because we're really not.
Yeah.
And there's a huge disconnect, and we're not going to be able to move things forward in the city without more collaboration. So
I agree
Yes.
100%, and I think that it also is the disconnect is hindering us when we talk about rebranding our city or
Right.
certain events or challenges that we're having with the code stuff. Like, they're so intertwined, yet we're having these discussions, and then it
Correct.
just kind of goes into the ether on one side. And
yes.
so
Absolutely.
I'm a big proponent of that. Any other comments for tonight?
Yes, I just want to piggyback, because we have the ability to eliminate the bureaucracy of, okay, well, we got to wait until the next meeting, and then we got to wait till the next meeting for approval. Screw that, let's just get together, I'm being nice by saying that. Let's just get together periodically. I would even go a step ahead and let's change the dynamic, and let's put our money where our mouth is when we talk about public service. And let's make this a regular thing, whether that's every month, every other month, because that's how we're gonna get things done.
Yes.
And that's how we're gonna establish a legacy, right? That's how we're gonna really take that strategic plan and the CRA plan and make it become a reality instead of a book on the shelf for the next decade. Right? I don't want to be here for the next 2.5 years and look back and be like, all right, well, you got to continue. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. No way. We have so much value in our city. It's up to us to really execute. And so, on that note, city manager, I do want to get a periodic update, maybe once a month on the city manager's report. If there's consensus from my colleagues about this task force with beautification, code, police department, on eliminating the semi trucks, the trash, the couches, just beautifying overall, the whole overhaul, right? I want to see updates on that. I don't care if it's one issue or 10 issues. I just want to see that periodically, so I know that there's progress being made.
I agree.
My comment is this, I agree with what is being said, but by the same token, if we make all of these, have all those big wish lists, we need to commit ourselves to making the meetings. I've noticed, in my opinion, too many absences without excuse, and no reason given. No one say where that person is, or it's a personal thing or emergency or whatever. So I have no problem with dealing with these issues, whether it's the CRA board, meeting with the commission board, doesn't matter. But I'd like to see a little more I speak for myself, a little more commitment to this board and to this city to make these things happen.
Yeah, I'll just take the words, I'll address this. When I talked about and said that very same thing, let's go to this meeting, let's go to this meeting, the response I heard was, oh, I'm retired, but I do have a life, right? So you can't in one hand say that, and then the other ask for more commitment. A lot of people have things that go on, so either all in or all out. Simple as that. And I'm all in.
Make a quick thing. I do want to add one item to a future agenda, and that would be the discussion on the Gulfview Harbor sidewalks potential waiver. I want to get some research on that and have that at a future commission meeting whenever it's possible, yeah.
Perfect.
To like have an actual discussion and get
Yes.
like
Yeah.
background
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, does anyone else
Yeah,
have any
September.
other comments?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Commissioner Turgan moved to adjourn. Vice Mayor Harris seconded the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Good night,
with no-
everyone.
With no further business, meeting's adjourned. I remembered it.